Let's go over to Christian now, who's in Southampton. Chris.
Welcome to the Polish Social Centre in Southampton, in a city where around a fifth of the residents here were born outside of the UK. Now, we'll be debating the impact of immigration with members of the Polish community who've moved here, along with people who've lived locally all their lives and are concerned about the effect it's had on local services and jobs, listening and responding to everything politicians from the Conservatives, Labour, Lib Dems and UKIP. Now, it is, of course, almost 10 years since the UK opened its labour market to workers from 8 Eastern European countries. As part of our Immigration Nations series, our Home Affairs correspondent Andy Davis has been looking at how a decade of migration into this city has been redefining Southampton.
The Sound of Poland, Polskie Radio. O Hampshire, o Southampton, o twojej okolicy.
In the port city of Southampton, a decade ago, there lived just a few hundred Polish immigrants.
The Sound of Poland. Z nami.
Now there are more than 8,000 here, with their grocers, butchers, restaurants and insurance brokers.
Dzień dobry, panie Tomaszu, Sabina Woźna z tej strony.
Voices woven into the fabric of a city which has been absorbing immigrants ever since the Huguenots fled here in the 17th century.
I'm quite happy for people to come in from other countries and work here as long as they work hard, pay their taxes and don't live on the dole.
But others see it very differently.
When I was brought up, you did not see a brown face or a black face or a yellow face or whatever. And now you see them everywhere. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it's disturbing to me.
They just opened up the floodgates and just sort of like, you know, obviously it's a land of plenty, otherwise they wouldn't be coming and stay where they are, wouldn't they?
To get a sense of just how much this city has changed over the last decade, this school offers a real insight. It's a primary school where among the pupils, 49 languages are spoken. Among them, Zulu, Punjabi,
Spanish, Shona, Mandarin, Filipino, Portuguese, Yoruba and Ika, Russian, Mandarin, Turkish, Polish,
and
Polish.
Dzień dobry, witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie na naszym spotkaniu, na naszym cyklicznym Polish Coffee Morning.
In one classroom, Marzena Andrzejewska guides Polish parents through their children's curriculum.
Ja za sekundę Wam podam.
Listening ears on.
Upstairs, Miss Kay from Lithuania takes a reception class.
3, 2, 1, and 0.
Just over a decade ago, this school was classified as 86% white English. It's now fallen to 41%.
In a school like ours, they almost forget how many languages there are because this is their norm, this is what they're growing up with, and this is what I think will be our children's greatest strength, that they will be able to mix, they will be able to integrate.
Recent immigration has brought a soaring birth rate to this city, with 1,000 more babies being born each year compared with a decade ago. They may have to build another secondary school. There's pressure too on the NHS, the irony being some British hospitals can't recruit enough of the migrant workers they say they need. Sylvia from Poland began work here, looking after dementia patients in a care home.
I used to work for 2 years night shifts, really hard job, and what I noticed, a lot of young English people who came to start with this job, they resign after 1, even 2 days. They say it's too hard.
For those more established immigrant communities, pragmatic concerns about modern immigration can sometimes outweigh the principles of a universalist embrace. From Southampton's Sikh community at the recent Vaisakhi festival, we heard mixed views on the new migrants.
I think there's probably a positive reaction in most senses. Sikhs are probably glad that they probably haven't had the same kind of reception that the Sikhs did here in the 1950s and 60s.
We're English Sikhs, and this is our country now. We live here, we're going to die here. I mean, if they want to let all the Eastern Europeans into the country, they're welcome. But where's the work for them? Where are they going to stay? There's no housing.
Where are they going to be housed, he asks. one of the most emotive aspects of this debate. In the Salisbury pub on Southampton's Shirley Road, they had plenty to say on this subject.
My brother's been on the housing list for 5 years now. I had a friend who just moved over from Poland, got a job and got housed by the council straight away because she didn't have anywhere to live, where my brother's literally living from house to house. He's worked, he's paid taxes, he's done everything he needed to do, yet he can't get a flat.
How do you feel about it? If you're with your friends and you're talking about immigration?
Infuriates me. It's something I don't like talking about because it can be seen as racism, can't it, I suppose? You can't openly discuss it, can you, with people, really? Some people, not everyone's against it, but majority of people are.
And what is it that troubles you so much about it?
I just think, like, I don't know how to word it so it doesn't sound bad, but we should have priority over outsiders.
Figures suggest nationally, working-age migrants are less dependent on benefits than their British counterparts. As for social housing, it is in great demand here. 8 years ago, there were 4,000 Southampton residents on the council's waiting list. There are 14,000 now. But there's certainly no bias in favour of immigrants, says the man in charge.
We have a very fair and open point system which actually favours local people. We give extra points for local residents and local association. Most of my understanding of new immigrants are living in the inner city, and most of them are living in private accommodation rather than council accommodation.
Beyond the pressures, this is a city imbued with a youthful diversity many local people proudly acclaim, as well as a new, increasingly Slavic-sounding workforce upon which many businesses thrive. A city of 230,000 people with minimal ethnic tensions, we were told, but understandably with some unsettled by the recent pace of change witnessed here, and apprehensive of the challenges which lie ahead.